Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Phillip, and joining me as always is Teacher.
Hello.
We're on week 3 of our 4-week holiday movie mini marathon. And for this week we watched Black Christmas, the 1974 original, aka The Cops Are Really Fucking Dumb. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. Let's get right into this pretty lengthy cast and crew rundown. Keep in mind, listeners, that these people have careers that have spanned decades. So I kind of just cherry-picked from their extensive careers. So I could be missing something that you're like, how did you miss that movie? Because I've been in like a bunch of stuff, so I just picked what I recognized pretty much. This was directed by Bob Clark, and to put these movies beside each other is really funny. He's done A Christmas Story, Porky's, Porky's 2, and this. That's really funny. And other stuff, of course, but just those 3 things stuck out. And I was like, damn, dude, he did like a renowned holiday movie, a straight up like 70s, 80s porn thing twice. And then it's just a Christmas horror movie, so kudos, sir. The screenplay was by Roy Moore. He only has 7 credits, and Black Christmas was his first feature film and second writing credit. Jess was Olivia Hussey. She was Juliet in the 1968 Romeo and Juliet that I think every American school kid from the 80s knows very well. She was Audra in the TV series It, and she was in Psycho 4. If I'm missing anything, feel free to chime in.
She was also in that horrible horror movie. What was it? Ice Cream Man?
Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't want to put that down.
Yeah.
Barb was Margot Kidder. Of course, recognized her right away. Her big things were Superman 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as Lois Lane, and she was in Amityville Horror. Someone else recognized by name right away when it popped up on the screen was Lieutenant Ken Fuller. That was John Saxon. I was like, Nancy's dad, yeah! He's been in Enter the Dragon. As said, he was Lieutenant Thompson, Nancy's dad, from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Dude plays a good cop. And he was also in From Dusk Till Dawn.
I'm trying to remember.
He was an FBI agent. Whose name escapes me, but I remember he was he was another cop, pretty much.
Okay.
Ms. Mack was Marion Waldman. She'd only ever been in 6 things, and her last movie was in 1980, and she died in 85. Phil was Andrea Martin. She has been in Inner Space, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and a movie that everyone should see called Wag the Dog. Peter was Keir Dullea. He was in 2001: A Space Odyssey, 2010, The Year We Made Contact, The Good Shepherd, and he's in the newish Fahrenheit 451. Claire was Lynn Griffin. She's been in Strange Brew and another underrated movie I really, really like, Storm of the Century. Based on a Stephen King story. It's really good. Chris was Art Hindle. He's been in Porky's 1 and 2, and he was also in The Brood.
Yes.
And finally for my list, Sergeant Nash was Douglas McGrath. He was in Porky's, Twilight Zone the movie, and Ghosts of Mars. Is there anyone else?
Not anyone else, but when I was reading some of the trivia, I thought it was interesting that 2 particular actors that Roy Moore, I guess, wanted for the roles, but didn't get, was Betty Davis for Miss Mac.
Ooh.
And Gilda Radner for Phil.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Those are good.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that would have been good. Aw. Now I'm sad. All right, so that's cast and crew. Let's get into our initial thoughts. I don't think there's any surprise or secret of your initial thoughts. They're not. You technically didn't even need to see this.
No, but I mean, I was always pleasantly ready to watch it. So
that just shows how committed we are to the podcast. TJ's seen this probably dozens of times.
Yeah, since high school.
Yeah, you could probably like quote it as you watch it. This was my first time watching it. I'm gonna put it like this, because I know you're probably anticipating. This fucking movie holds up today.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Take 1974. I watched from the 1974 like glasses. I watched it from that point of view because you have to. The production's not gonna be the best, and the sound design was not great, and it was grating as fuck. But for me, just watching it now, I have so many other horror movies in my like vault, my brain that I've seen. This feels like it was a trendsetter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally.
There were so many things from this that I have not seen in horror movies that I've seen prior to this. So I wonder, like, is this the first movie to do this, and is this the first movie to do this? And I can see why it's such a cult classic. It was really fucking good. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but it was well written. It was pretty well directed, well acted, except for a few things. Just a lot of stuff I was impressed with. I do have some mediocre stuff, of course, but this is one that I could easily see why you do it every year. It seems like it'd be a fun one to watch with friends. And what surprised me the most about it, though, this was a lot fucking funnier than I expected.
Yeah.
This movie's really fucking funny, and in a good way.
Yes.
Like, the humor is on point. Because why you say that Betty Davis was supposed to be Mrs. Mack, or he wanted her for Ms. Mack, I like the one we got. She did a good job, but I can also see Betty Davis nailing that role. I was impressed like, pretty much from the beginning. When they were doing the first-person stuff with the killer climbing up the lattice.
Yes.
This is 1974. This holds up. This holds up today. Like someone would have a GoPro on their head doing that today.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I want to say I watched a documentary, because I've seen a lot of the documentaries, and it's hard for me to remember all of them, but I'm pretty sure that this was one of the first movies, or the first movie, to have the point of view shot that wasn't on a track.
Ah, okay.
To where the cameraman themselves was doing the climbing.
Right.
Yeah.
I was super impressed with that. But overall, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good.
Yay! I'm very happy to hear that.
All right, well, do you want to get into our breakdowns?
Yes.
These should be easy for you. What was your favorite scene?
So, favorite scene is probably going to be, and it's one of the most iconic shots from the movie. Well, two favorite scenes that are almost very much related. My favorite shot is when Jess goes to try to find Barb and Phil, and after she discovers the bodies, you see Billy's eye staring at her. And I mean, that's just super creepy. The second favorite scene is when Barb gets killed. Just how well it's shot. The angles that they were taking, the blurry effect, the slow motion of the unicorn crystal coming down on her.
Right.
And meanwhile, you know, there's a choir going on outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's those two. Yours?
My favorite scene is the Barb death scene, as you said. For everything that you said, I loved the juxtaposition of the carolers singing while Barb is being murdered. Again, it was well shot. It was really cool. Like, there's just so much about this movie that just holds up. And that's a great scene. And then I also liked the very end. I liked when it ended. It didn't go to a fade to black. I liked that the credits rolled over the phone ringing with the cop standing outside, and we had the shot of Claire. You know, with the bag over her head still. I like that entire thing. I thought it was really cool to have just the phone ringing over the credits the entire time. They didn't fade. I was like, that had to have just been awesome to see in 1974. So yeah, those are mine. What was your holy shit moment?
Holy shit moment was kind of to go along with Jess when Jess finds out that the calls are coming from inside the house.
I wonder, that's one of the things I wondered, is like, how close is that to being one of the first movies to do that?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it. Ugh. There's another movie like that. I don't want to spoil it. But there's another movie that I'm thinking of that had that same thing, but I'm going to look that up right now to see when that came out.
Yeah, because I don't know what year that movie came out. It seems like it's around the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It was 79. So
79.
yeah,
Okay, so
70.
this one still.
Yeah, this could have been first.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously saw it coming, but that's just because I've had decades of horror movies, including that one and the sequel, under my belt. I saw that, I'm like, I wonder if this is the first movie to do that. How awesome would it have been to see that in 1974? Which I'll keep referencing, but come on.
Which, I mean, even as the audience, you know that the killer's in the house, but she did so well at playing the terror, at finding that out. Which,
Yeah,
I mean, kudos to Olivia at that part.
Yes.
Because there's other parts where.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
kudos to her at that part, and also when she's like screaming for Phil and Barb. I mean, that her screaming was very much emoting the terror.
My holy shit moment is Margot Kidder dying. Because I know Margot Kidder as this big star. I thought Margot Kidder was final girl. Again, a lot of my perspective is, from so much, I've seen this for the first time, obviously. So you're going to see that on the credits and think, oh, Margot Kidder's the star, not Olivia Hussey. So that was a whole issue. I didn't expect her to die. I thought he would leave the room and go after Phil. And then she would wake up and, then it would play out a different way. But it didn't. So that was a holy shit moment for me personally, because I was expecting Miss Kidder to be the final girl. All right, if any, mediocre moment.
So, on a technical standpoint, which again, considering the time, it's easily forgiven, but some of the blood effects.
Yeah, I forgave him.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me nitpicking right there. Another thing would be that the killer lucked out a lot with timing and killing people. Because if those killers hadn't been there, then, game over. And then, you have the stupid cops.
Yes.
Which I think this was also the transcender of incompetent cops in horror movies. And then, kind of like on a personal note, it's both a win and a lose when it comes to Jess's character and Peter and their plot line. Because one, kudos that a movie from 1974 had abortion as a major plot point.
Yeah, definitely. And the way they did it.
Yes.
I did not like Jess's character at first.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's like kudos to her for standing her ground and just kind of being like, I'm not, this is college. We're dating. I'm not going to marry you. And, I have a life to live too. However, you're an asshole. For picking the most important night of his college career to break the news. Yep. And then to be in condescending shit the entire time.
But then he also turned into a fucking possessive giant D-bag. But that's one of the subplots I did like, because it was actually really layered. These two characters were not one-dimensional. And I'm still iffy about the red herring of Peter. Ultimately, I liked the plot they went with and what they did anyway, so I dug that as well. I did, on page 3 of my notes, I wrote, Jess is kind of awesome. And she says, you cannot tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm like, yeah, girl power, yeah. You tell him. My mediocre moments are the police. There was comical parts to that. At the same time, it was almost bumbling. And I had to remember, I can't compare police procedure now with the way it was 40 plus years ago. So I have to keep that in mind. But I would think that police in 1974 would search the entire fucking house. That bugged me. That they did not search the attic. I thought that was, especially if you can see fucking Claire from the fucking outside. If you go across the street. That's a big one. There's a lot of nitpicky ones. That's a big one. I have a couple from Margot Kidder, actually. She was horrible at smoking cigarettes.
Yes.
I gotta throw that out there. And I assume that she's never used an inhaler in her life. Because A, it was upside down. B, she never pressed on it. I use an inhaler. They make that noise. It's very distinctive. Even if you're going, you can still hear the inhaler. She didn't press down on it. My least favorite death is also a mediocre moment, and that was Ms. Mac. The hook thing was a little unpractical.
Mm-hmm.
That was you want to talk about timing, and like that's like some fucking science fair shit. Like, if I time the trajectory and the angle and the speed of this hook, it's going to hit her at this angle and lift her up. No, it's not.
I mean, if anything, it's gonna just knock her
Yeah,
unconscious.
she's gonna get knocked in the head and fall down the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't care for that too much. And then the call, I think it was the final call, when they finally trace it back to the inside the house. Shouldn't she be able to hear that coming from upstairs?
Mm-hmm.
It's really fucking loud, and it's right there. And like the cops could hear her screaming from outside in the basement.
Yeah.
They should be able to hear like multiple voiced killer dude.
Or she could hear Barb having the asthma attack.
Yeah, I didn't. That really bugged me as well. Like, you should have known. Like, and it's not even really nitpicky to me. Like, sound works in a certain way, and it's inside the fucking house, and he's being very, very loud. There's no way to mask that noise. It's a quiet house. There's nothing else going on. So that bugged me. All right, let's discuss some of our LOL moments. Can I please go first?
Yes, you
Okay,
go first.
thank you. First of all, Ms. Mac is the star of the fucking show as far as LOL moments go. She was fucking awesome. I loved that she had like hidden booze spots. Like she had her liquor like in a book, in the toilet, in a shoebox. That was fucking awesome.
Like, I think someone might be an alcoholic.
I love Miss Mac so much. I love the line from when they were all gathered on the phone in the beginning, and they're getting the obscene phone call. And Claire says something like, "Do you think it's so-and-so?" And Margot Kidder says, "No, Claire, that's the Mormon Tabernacle Choir doing their annual obscene phone call." Fucking, I had to pause, rewind, and make sure I got that right. Doing their annual obscene phone call. It's like awesome. I like the Santa Claus going, "Ho, ho, ho, shit. Ho, 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 fuck." That was fucking funny. I like when I need to call by their names. Keep calling her Margaret Kidder, Barb. I like when Barb was giving the kids champagne. It's like she's so fucking cool. The whole fellatio bit with the cop was really funny.
And also cracking open a beer at the...
Yeah. I love Barb's turtle sex speech.
Yes.
She's like, "I went to the zoo. It was boring." I fucking died. I busted out laughing there too. I was like, this dialogue's really good. I like when she called her mom. She says, "You're a real gold-plated whore, mother." It's like, damn. Also laughed. I thought it was funny when Ms. Mac was getting ready to leave with Claire's dad. And she's like, "God damn it, Claude, you little prick." And he's right there. Because he's so uptight. I loved when she's covering up the peace sign that was people laying on each other. That was fucking funny.
The grandma poster.
I want that poster.
Yes.
Oh my god.
We all do.
Oh my god. I wrote, "I want that Express Thyself poster." So bad. I really, really want that wreath with all the liquor bottles.
Mm-hmm.
The little tiny ones. Thought that was cool. I think those are all from my LOL moments. You may, if you have others that I did not.
So the only other, I have one more intentional LOL moment to mention, and then I have some unintentional ones.
Okay.
When Lieutenant Fuller and the other cop see the entire fellatio exchange.
Yeah.
And how that one cop is just dying laughing.
Nash has no idea. He's just like,
Yep.
blank, blank.
Unintentional LOL moments. Jess, every single time that she answered a phone,
Oh my god, yes.
screaming, "Hello? Hello?"
Like in the beginning, just when she was talking, I was like, I'm not gonna like you. Her delivery was horrible. She got better.
Yes.
Oh my god, she just emoting and enunciating was odd. And she came off like a really bad actress at first. She didn't know how to control the pitch of her voice. It's like, "Hi!" You're like, "No, Jess, I'm standing right in front of you, Jess. You don't need to hum. I'm right. Just say hi. Just say hi."
And then some of the phone conversations, the one where she's trying to figure out, she's calling the operator about the obscene phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Yes, I'll hold, but only for a moment." And it's like, well, what do you plan on doing? It's like, you don't really get the option there.
Yeah.
And then when she's talking to Peter, and, she gives him that entire condescending line of, we need to talk like adults. And then the operator comes back and she gets all shitty with her.
Mm-hmm.
But another unintentional moment for me that I laughed out loud this time, because I never really picked up on it prior, was when the choir or the carolers came.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's looking at them through the window and they all turn to face her.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of those creepy Jesus paintings where, like, no matter where you are in the room, the eyes follow you.
Right.
But yeah, that's everything.
I kind of had a like Village of the Damned singing carol kind of moment there when they all turned to look at her. Like they should have like went into like some exorcist shit. I wish if they could have remade it. Well, they did remake it. You know what I mean? If they could have reshot that moment, I would have had the kids turn and just start singing in Latin. Like, Satanas, Vamonos, no. Like, that would been so cool. Just give me a Village of the Damned moment with them, because it was kind of a creepy moment. I liked it. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anything else you'd like to add? You want to go to my notes?
Notes is fine.
All right. So I started off saying, "Listen, you hussy," just because I'm fucking juvenile.
Puns.
Yes. I was like, "Ooh, Margot Kidder," because I didn't know she was in this. And I was like, "Yay, John Saxon." So I was like, they don't waste any time going to the titles and the credits, and they don't waste any time introducing the killer.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up for me.
Which, speaking on the killer, kudos for, like, that was a really fucking insane killer.
Yeah.
Like, that shit.
I like that we never got any explanation.
Or you never saw who the killer actually was.
Yeah, like, we don't know. Like, there's no backstory. There's no reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that in my notes. Like, I think one of the last things I wrote in my notes while I was waiting for you to finish, word for word, I also like how it's never revealed who the killer is, and it's never explained.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's awesome. We got a little Star Wars exchange. I love you. I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
He should have picked up on that, man.
Yeah. Then, here's when I talk about Creeper Peter. He's like, "You can't have an abortion. You didn't even ask me. You only think of yourself." I'm like, dude, A, she doesn't need your permission.
Mm-hmm.
And B, what are you doing, sir? You're thinking of yourself.
Yeah, all you're doing is destroying college property.
And then he says, and then Jess says, "I'm not going to change my mind. We'll see." Gross. Ugh. A lot of this would not happen in today's society. I think it was Jess that said to the cop, "I think your attitude sucks." I was like, if someone said that to a cop today, they'd be shot. Just gonna throw that out there. I loved that it did not take place all in one night.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was gonna be like a sorority party massacre thing, where the killer just comes and just slays everybody in one night, and then that was Black Christmas kind of thing, you know? There was actually a plot, and it spanned days, and we had time for subplots, and they took the time to actually flesh out the characters. I really like that. Was Chris Claire's boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay, that dude was rocking that fur coat.
Yes.
Like, I'm not into fur at all, but he was rocking it.
Yeah. He was never cold the entire time that he was outside.
Side note, I think caroling is so weird. It's like come and stare at us while we sing at you.
I had to do
It's so weird to me.
caroling once. Even me, let's say that probably would have been 7th or 8th grade. I was thinking the entire time, this is cold and it's bullshit.
It's weird.
Why are we doing this?
It's really weird to me. This would not happen in today's society, part 2. That dude would not be talking shit if he shot a cop.
Mm-hmm.
You would have been dead in your yard, period. How the fuck did Nash make Sergeant? He looks like he belongs in Police Academy.
It's Canada. So
I guess. Sorry, our Canadian fans. I loved, again, this is how police would not do things, or how things would not be handled today, part 3. the police are just casually walking through the basement. They're like, do, looking for the killer. Like, no, they're gonna be like guns drawn, like pointing every direction before they walk. They were just walking. They were just all casually walking. This is kind of mediocre, but they wouldn't just leave her alone in the room at the end.
Yeah. All I kept on thinking is like that Home Alone moment where they're all like, are we forgetting something?
Yeah, like so much police stuff, so much police protocol stuff just seems wrong. And honestly, if this is how you did things in the 70s, no wonder serial killers were able to kill so fucking much.
Yeah.
Jeez. And then I wrote my very last note. I was also glad they never went for the bullshit twist end. It's not Peter. It's been blank. It's been Chris the whole time, or some bullshit like that. Peter, was a red herring, but I would not have been upset if he had been the killer.
Yeah.
So even if they went with that, I still would have been okay with it. And I believe those are all for my notes. Hope I'm not missing anything, but yeah, those are my notes. Anything else you'd like to add? You want to go to final thoughts?
Final thoughts is fine.
Take it away. This is your movie, sir.
I think it just kind of goes without saying that I'd recommend this.
You have.
Yeah. Like you had brought up, this scene still holds up. It may not be gory, but it still is, in its own way, very visceral and well acted and creepy. And, there's a reason why this one is sometimes attributed as being the start of the slasher films.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Because other people are attributed to other movies, and I'm trying to think what came before this. It could be.
The only other film that a lot of people attribute to being the beginning of the slasher films is Peeping Tom.
Okay. Okay, fair.
But I'd say this is the one that set the way for more of the tropes that you see.
Yeah. Yeah, this was ahead of its time. In a lot of ways. And I'm not even at all being facetious or anything when I say it holds up. How many years later? Like 45 years later? I was thoroughly impressed. TJ's been recommending this movie to me for literally years. For years. It's another one I'm like, man, I should have probably seen this way sooner. And I'm really surprised it somehow went under my radar during the 80s and the 90s when I started really getting into horror. Oh, well, at least I watched it now, so.
Yay.
If you're like me and I've not seen it, go see it. I can't say it reinvented the wheel because I kind of invented the wheel. So, This is the wheel. If you are a fan of horror, go watch The Wheel. Because, yeah, very impressive all these years later. Well, that takes care of final thoughts. But before we go, as it pertains to Black Christmas, the original, what did we learn?
I learned that during the Christmas time, the Village of the Damned likes to go caroling.
Indeed, they do. I learned it's probably not wise to have a baby with someone who beats the shit out of pianos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you've seen Black Christmas, tell us what you thought of the movie in the comments below. Do you love it? Or do you hate it? If you hate it, why? This really set like the standard for horror movies. And I just can't, like, for 1974. Just wow. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. And please subscribe to the channel, including hitting that notification bell to stay up to date on the newest content. Speaking of, and I know you're excited for this, haha, our final week, week 4, will be on the remake of Black Christmas made in 2006. I know you don't like this.
Well,
let's leave it at that, because I don't know.
Okay.
We'll get to it we'll next week. So until then, once again, my name is Phillip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll return next time to talk about the remake of Black Christmas. Goodbye.
Bye.